things that that I'm seeing personally that I think will never be the same are um, wholesale. Just I don't think it will, I think the nature of wholesale is going to change dramatically. The in-store experience for retail and the relationship of customers and brand.
So hello everyone, I would like to give a warm welcome to Yarra McClure. She's the Director of Marketing at Livie Luca. And prior to that, she led the marketing efforts at Stella Carakasi. So she's a creative marketer with data-driven storytelling, working with bespoke brands to bring forward messaging around sustainability and authenticity. So Yarra, welcome to the Demand Generation Show. And please do introduce yourself to our audience and talk about your journey.
Great. Well, thank you, Vishal. Such an honor to be here. My name is Yarra McClure, and I am the marketing director at Livie Luca. Livie Luca is a children's brand, and it's a purpose-driven brand whose mission is to spread joy and to make a difference through comfortable and whimsical shoes. Mm-hmm. My background for the last 17 years has been in fashion and apparel, and through the lens of COVID, my immediate experience as a marketing director was really looking at what was happening in the landscape, what our plans were prior to COVID, and looking for solutions really from a customer-centric point of view. Yeah, well, the top three things that I'm seeing personally that I think will never be the same are wholesale. Just I don't think it will, I think the nature of wholesale is going to change dramatically. The in-store experience for retail and the relationship of customers and brand. So that creating a new bond it's really going to be paramount for our brands to have that customer center to their strategy going forward. And so anecdotally, for wholesale, when we look at just the industry-wide fashion, there are projections that are published that talk about the $2.5 trillion industry seeing a decrease of 30% over as a direct result of COVID. And what I'm hearing in the industry from a buyer's perspective on the B2B side is that it could be much worse. And the interesting thing about COVID is that no one knows how long this will last. And so I've taken into mind just some scenario planning that can be helpful because there are some things where, for marketers, this is going to mean a rethinking of the way that we go to market for B2B. Mm-hmm. So a 30% decline, what does that mean? And it's been an interesting thing to think about for, say, fall 20 coming up. The in-store retail experience, from both a customer perspective, personally, I can imagine this world where I'm going in, someone's taking my temperature, there is social distancing, so I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but there's hand sanitizer, I've made a reservation possibly on the curation of collection, as I'd read in the New York Times just yesterday, those pieces that I want to try on, they're going to be reserved for 2 days or in some places or maybe longer, depending on what the store's policy is. And I wonder what that will do to the rush that we get in retail. That brings me to the third thing that I think will change will be that relationship between the brand and the consumer, and that safety and trust are going to be so important and really this creating visibility and over communicating safety plans, for the customer, but also for the teams. So, for instance, at our distribution center for Livie Luca, we looked at how can we safely operate during COVID? What needs to happen logistically? There needs to be that 6-foot spacing. We need to have a protocol on how all surfaces are cared for. We need to have time built in so that people can take the breaks that they need to without rushing through a lunch and being in a bathroom setting where they don't have time to properly wash their hands. So that relationship of trust and safety for brands and for customers, I think, is going to completely transform through COVID.
Yeah, no, excellent point. And I was reading that, I'm glad you mentioned about the New York Times article, that fitting rooms, like how are people going to go and try clothes? Like, especially for like me as a guy, when I go buy something, like I just go to one store and my goal is like, I just want to pick up 3-4 different things. I want to try it out and pick one and I want to be out of there. So, for men, because we're just going there to buy something, come out, if that's going to start delaying our time, if I have to wait in the line to find the product, I have to take 3-4 things with me in the fitting room. And it takes me, what it used to take me maybe 30 minutes to buy a piece of jacket. Is it going to take me an hour? And am I really going to go inside the store? Or am I going to start buying more stuff from the brands that I already know, that I know this brand's size fits me? So let me just not even explore any new brands. Let me just keep buying from the existing ones online so I don't have to go to the store. So for new brands, it'll be like very difficult.
I think that there's a unique challenge there. And, it immediately makes me think of some of the tech out of the Bay Area, like Sabitude, which is solving for sizing problems, and even like bigger tech companies like TrueFit, where that, typically we're looking at the reduction of returns online.
Right.
Perhaps this fit technology can assist us as consumers in terms of narrowing down what it is we're looking for so that we can get a better fit and economize our time and our safety.
So it also opens up like new opportunity for a lot of AI based companies, the virtual fitting rooms. Like there were companies that you can actually use a phone and kind of tells you your size. Like cashier-less check-ins. So all these startups, like especially in Silicon Valley, who are trying to target these tiny little process when a customer buys, those things you'll see like a huge rise in those.
I think so, and it brings me to an interesting idea that one of the concepts in preparing for this talk, I was thinking about accessibility as one of the strategies that we've been applying, and it was suggested to me, what would accessibility look like in a cashless society? Could that be one of the outcomes here? And will there be more platforms for maybe people that don't have access to cashless solutions right now?
Right, absolutely. No, this is it'll be interesting to see how things go. Even by the end of this year, we'll have a better grasp on things.
Yeah, I think for anyone who's interested in marketing, that it's a really rewarding field. It's a place where you get to ask a lot of questions, and it's a place where you can really, make data-driven decisions, which is really fun if you have a creative side to balance your creativity with an analytical sensibility, because you can test creatives and then you can see where they perform, and you can have controlled experiments. My path from a buyer to a marketing director has been one that I felt really prepared for the role that I'm in today, because I've had a variety of roles where I'm able to be somewhat of a generalist in my approach, so I can train people that are my direct reports because I've been there before. But also having the experience of being a buyer gave me this customer-centric data thinking, that I was able to really look at performance through a margin perspective, and to bring forward messaging to amplify specific products.
Right.
So as a buyer, you're looking for visibility for these products and thinking, I wish that I could get this out there. And with marketing, it's almost a natural next step that you're moving into a space where you can be really curious about where your customer is, and if they're on Instagram, if they're on Facebook, if they're in traditional email, and to test those channels and to look at cadence and consistency in a way of how can I be of service to this customer, without like how can I really get to know them and what they like, so that I can bring forward products that are important to them.
Right.
Yeah, that's something that we have focused on. We focused on the lifetime value of the customer, and in that, sacrificing a little margin to acquire new customers is going to give you hopefully some of the growth that you're looking for. And when I was looking at the landscape for COVID and looking at our industry and the numbers that are being reported there, the jobs numbers, and thinking about our customer and thinking about where the customer is at, it became apparent to me that the pricing of the typical product wasn't going to be available to everyone to access. That maybe this season they were going to have to skip that purchase. And so, by looking at key products, I think you can have a lead in for people that are still looking for a premium product, but at a discounted price. There were certainly industry examples that I saw, brands that were high quality and prestigious brands that were offering in-season discounts. And it was a little bit shocking to look at your Instagram feed in March and see really great brands like Rag & Bone at up to 75 off. And the logic actually made a lot of sense. Does it do good for brands to sit on inventory, or is it helpful to have liquidity now?
Yeah, no,
from both a business and a customer perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I think the top three things are, to be ready to pivot, and based on where the data is taking you. So don't be stubborn about the plans that you have made and being too attached to them. We are in a uniquely dynamic time, and it's going to require agility. So the top three things are to be able to pivot based on the data, to make those, to don't be stubborn, make those data-driven decisions, and the third, to remain fluid and agile. Within that, I could break it down into another three-fold path of that. Look at what you need in terms of reserve, and then look at what you need to thrive and then to grow. And the timelines for those may be much longer. And that in this time that we're in, one of the things that we've had to do is to, where we used to think strategically, tactically, was from a growth mindset. And now we're moving into this, the way that we think now is an agile mindset.
That is excellent. So, and any last closing remarks for our audience who is venturing out into fashion business? How should they think, and what are the things they can actually do to be more stronger and come out stronger after this crisis is over?
Well, I would say be curious about what the data is telling you, and also take the time to have a conversation with your customer. Give some flavor to what you're learning from the numbers as they come in, and to see where you can be of service to your customer and to your community through your product.